Morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Thursday, October 5th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today is, guys, we're starting it off with the sun. I feel like we're immediately already seeing a huge sea change as it relates to where we find ourselves today as opposed to yesterday. Now, one of the things I need to stress that we completed a lot of heavy energy yesterday in the read, but we completed yesterday's read with that Magician card, being able to take some of that heaviness and alchemize it into something more positive at this time. For all energies at play right now, this is holding on and moving on from a space of positivity, hope, allowing yourself to move forward to the light, letting the shadows fall behind you. Can I please have the second card in our 5-card spread for today? Second card coming through right now is 8 of Wands in its reversal. Now, this is very intriguing, okay? Because what we're actually seeing here, and I need to stress that this is the value of this. This is not about moving in the direction of things that do not seem like they are in alignment to you. This is exactly what I'm talking about the fact of allowing that light to guide you right now. This is not necessarily a moment right now that you're potentially feeling like everything is moving in the direction that you would ideally have desired. There could even be some sense or feeling of recalibration at this time. But what we see that is happening right now, this is more of that Magician energy that is coming into effect. Recognizing that blockages, that hurdles are not necessarily stoppage points. They're requiring you to be creative. They are requiring you to adjust. They are requiring you to look at what you are doing, to reassess, to either change direction, change course, change tactic, change angle. And maybe a lot of the work that we're seeing here isn't effectively not necessarily operating from a state of recognizing the reality of some circumstances or situations at this time. It's more confronting those blockages full in the face to be able to find the most positive outcome in any situation or circumstance. Taking that dross, turning it into gold, as it were. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, we love this. How are we doing this right now? How are all energies effectively moving forward right now with an ability to look at the hurdles, to look at the blockages, but have a space or place of optimism as you do so? The way that you're doing it for all energies at play right now is seeing, recognizing, and working to heal the abandonment wound. This is not allowing oneself to move from a place of fear, to move from a place of frustration, to move from a place of reactivity, but instead to utilize those moments of observation, observing how you're feeling, observing the practical situations or hurdles that are obstructing you to find the most optimistic outcome moving forward. We love to see this, particularly, this is something that's happening right now for all energies at play. We saw that there was almost a build up to this yesterday. It may have even felt like for a lot of energy yesterday, there was a bit of a breaking point that was happening. There was almost like a dam that had to be broken through. For the masculine and feminine energy, I need to stress that the dam, what was the dam that you were facing? Yesterday was confronting the abandonment wound. Yesterday, for all of the energies at play, we saw that there was a moment of confronting the abandonment wound. And for all energies at play, it was feeling rather overwhelming. Feminine and masculine that were working even in partnership. There was a lot of outside stress that was being put upon the partnership, either intentionally or non-intentionally. It was making all of the energies having to operate in a space of deep vulnerability. But what is so important that happened during that time for the partnered energies? There was a feeling of success. There was a feeling of having to effectively, like I used the term, ripping the Band-Aid off of some things yesterday that was coming into play. And now it's almost like allowing for that feeling of positivity to come back into the partnerships and the unions. This was even happening right now for the energies that are trying to come into partnership yesterday. Potentially, as we said, seeing some of that make or break moment that we identified yesterday for the energies trying to come into partnership. There's almost a feeling right now of relief for the partnered energies, for the energies trying to come into partnership right now, this is effectively either that point of being able to see a point of unification, having that understanding right now, maybe even confronting each other's wounds as it relates to what you do and do not feel comfortable doing or saying at this time, but instead holding on to that level of positivity to help navigate those hurdles as you go forward from this time. For the other part, I need to stress, for the other part of the energies trying to come into partnership at this moment, this may have been a point of catharsis because you're getting validation that something is not going to work. So either this was the validation that something will work because there's some adaptability that's being put into practice here, or this is a moment of personal catharsis, some energy moving back into separation, feeling like you've seen all you need to see. You did not see the adaptability. You did not see the ability of positivity. Potentially you saw too much of that reactivity, asking for ultimatums, potentially feeling too confrontational. We like this because even at this moment right now for the energies coming into partnership or trying to do, this is either a release or a coming together right now that is creating a sense of ease and almost a recognition of, again, following your own sense of positivity at this time. Masculine and feminine energy in separation at this point, this is also going to be feeling like a moment or degree of catharsis at this time. Because what we're really effectively identifying at this moment for the energy that's in partnership is, again, moving towards your joy, following your joy. Feminine, again, yesterday was a heavy day for the energy that's in separation. There was a feeling of having to push forward as it relates to the own journey in terms of finding partnership that you didn't necessarily even feel like you wanted to do, but you were kind of forcing yourself to do it. You were like dragging yourself out in the light of day with your sunglasses on, being like, I don't want to be here, but lo and behold, I am here anyway, because you felt the obligation or the need to continue to move forward on your manifestation goal at this time. This is creating a point of catharsis right now, even for the feminine energy in this moment, because while you may be feeling the fact that you are not necessarily communicating to some energy, this is more of that feminine energy refusing to communicate or go back to situations or circumstances that were requiring them to be in a need-based, abandonment-like mentality to be in the relationship itself. This is that moment that you're recognizing and you're telling yourself you are on a healing journey. That your ability and degree not to go back to situations and circumstances that are only building a space of need is effectively you choosing your point of positivity. It's choosing that space or place of optimism, and you're letting that guide your path forward at this point, Pain. And recognizing that is starting to have a bit of an impact. It's starting to feel like a bit of a cloud break at this time. For feminine energy, even right now, we did identify, even for the feminine energy right now, that's even allowing in some energy that they're recognizing there is not a possibility of partnership at this moment. This is also effectively healing the abandonment wound right now, because again, it's allowing you just to look at something for what it is. You're seeing here that there is a blockage, but you're actually, again, the only way you're coming in back into that right now is that you're not expecting anything of it. In a way, you've already effectively healed from it because you're only taking things on the surface value of something, and that's also creating a space or place of positivity. While for masculine energy and separation at this time, this is also a moment that we are identifying and recognizing that you are also feeling some level or degree of catharsis at this time. Specifically because, again, for the masculine energy that is now either, again, this was masculine energy that was choosing a point of autonomy, allowing that to be your point or degree of understanding, but now you're recognizing is actually a very special, rarefied version of divine union. Or for the masculine energy right now that is moving or trying to move towards a feminine energy, a manifestation of feminine, but feeling the hurdles and blockages at this time that may be creating a point of difficulty. This is either the modality of, again, being able to come into a space where you are trying to correct for some communication blockage, and you trying to correct the communication blockage is what is creating a space or place of catharsis. Or simultaneously, if this is masculine energy that is identified or decided that something is not going to be able to be healed at this time, it is also creating a moment of potentially feeling catharsis at this time, because you're moving from a state or space of just trying to find what's going to make you feel best at this moment. Fourth card coming through in our 5-card spread for today is We like this. We like this a lot. We've got here our 7 of Cups energy. Now, what are we seeing right now for masculine and feminine energy? Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine and feminine energy right now that's in partnership, there may have been a feeling right now, again, identifying the hurdles, seeing the blockages, but being able to address them in very practical ways, not letting yourself be reactive. There may have even been a moment yesterday that you identified in the partnership that further confirmed and affirmed your own desire, your own commitment to the partnership. That you are effectively identifying that you are not seeing the reactivity, that the energy that you appreciate in partnership is the fact that the partnership itself does not create reactive outcomes to difficult situations. This is what is allowing that point of degree of new possibilities, new opportunities. This is almost like a feeling of overwhelm because, again, we're seeing that for the energies in partnership at this moment, it's not requiring you to extend or exert all of your energy on the partnership through times of difficulty. Instead, it's just opening your horizons to all of the possibilities at play right now. For masculine and feminine energy and divine union and partnership right now, this is why those hurdles don't seem like such a setback. Because it's almost like recognizing and identifying that even as you hit certain hurdles, certain walls, there are new possibilities that are effectively unfolding around you at this time in the process. Masculine and feminine working in partnership right now are effectively almost in this moment that, again, it's almost like not getting stressed by what's not working because so many other possibilities are coming towards you. It's more of a matter of where you're really going to put your time, effort, energy, and attention at this moment. That's the hardest hurdle right now for the masculine and feminine energy of partnership at this time. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now that is moving into partnership, this is that moment that, again, this was a bit of a make or break moment. This is literally what we were seeing yesterday. For half of the masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership at this time, this is effectively the masculine and feminine energy looking, recognizing, seeing the fact that there is something that hit a trigger yesterday, but navigating that trigger in a positive way, with intentionality of the long-term goal and path going forward. This is opening it up to new possibilities, new approaches. So it's not necessarily that everything is moving smoothly at this time. It's that you're still trying to seek which way you need to motivate and move one another to be able to come into better union. While for the other part of the collective right now, this was potentially the cutoff moment. This was potentially the moment that you did not see the results of the work that you've been hoping to achieve. This makes a lot of sense because you'll recognize that this was feminine energy that was already trepidatious about coming into partnership. Feminine energy was effectively looking for something from the masculine to see if there had been some aspect of growth as it relates to this. Masculine was looking for the feminine energy to come from a state or space of vulnerability. Likewise, for both energies right now, this is that moment of catharsis, either feeling the validation that something does have the opportunity to grow and thrive, but still feeling a little confused as to how to go forward, or this is potentially a cutoff. This was potentially a moment that you saw everything that you needed to see. You determined that that is not a possibility that was available. You are continuing forward because, again, you're not letting yourself react from a trigger, but more with intentionality and just accepting things as they are. So for both energies right now, even if you are trying to come into partnership, there is a feeling of catharsis right now in terms of either seeing what you needed to see to move forward or getting the confirmation that you needed that this was not necessarily something for you. Masculine and feminine in separation right now, we are also seeing that there is a lot of healing and positivity and catharsis coming through right now. For feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is a moment, you may have actually, again, I have to stress, for feminine energy yesterday, we saw that there was a bit of that dragging energy, having to force yourself to do something that you didn't want to do. Feminine's okay with forcing themselves to do something that they didn't want to do right now. Why? Because feminine energy is seeing the options. Feminine energy is seeing the options. Feminine energy is starting to feel more optimism as it relates to the options that they're seeing. There's a feeling of overwhelm, but there's something coming through with the feminine energy right now, feeling like I am not alone. I'm not abandoned. I'm not going to have to go through this journey by myself, because even though I had to stop communication with something, there are a lot of possibilities and almost the recognition that, again, moving towards your manifestation goal of union and partnership, you're like, oh, wait, there are a lot of fish in the sea, and some of those fish look pretty good, right? Well, for the other part of the feminine energy right now, if this is, again, a moment right now where you're making the intentional choice to allow some energy to remain, that you've now kind of conceded that you accept the fact that divine union or partnership is not going to be available. You're almost at a point of catharsis with that as well, because again, you're limiting your own communication with that energy, you're limiting your own prospects with that energy, but you're not limiting yourself. Instead, you're operating in both modalities. You're keeping something feeling very limited and enclosed, and you're keeping the other thing very much open to possibilities. This is exactly what I saw yesterday as we related to feminine energy, trying to articulate to some masculine energy around them, saying like, you can stay in my life, but only under these conditions. This is where you live now as I continue forward in this vibration. While for masculine energy in separation right now, we are effectively seeing that again, we've got a couple different modalities coming into play here. Masculine energy that was in a state or place of autonomy. This was that moment that we are effectively identifying that again, for the masculine energy that was going from a point of autonomy, you now know what you're looking for. You're now ready to articulate upon it. For masculine energy right now, this is that moment that even while some of this energy is looking to the past, you're also leaving yourself open to new experiences in the future. For some of the masculine energy right now that's in that point of autonomy, this is a point of, again, identifying hurdles and blockages. Some of this energy may have kind of recognized now what is and is not available to them at this time, but they're keeping themselves open to new possibilities, and this is also healing a bit of this abandonment wound. For masculine energy right now, again, that is trying to move back towards a manifestation of feminine energy. This is also a moment that this could be feeling like a point of view or assessment, because we did see that we're effectively now looking, thank you so much for the gift, at two different modalities of masculine. This is either the masculine energy in separation that is effectively given up on something in terms of having that degree or ability of healing. This is what's allowing them to see those new possibilities at play. For the other half of that masculine collective right now, this is masculine energy that is still pursuing or trying to come back towards a feminine manifestation that requires this level of degree of healing. This is a moment that, again, you're trying to ascertain the approaches as it relates to how to communicate with that energy. So again, one or two different modalities coming into play. But with both, we are seeing that the reason you're moving forward in this capacity or degree is because you've seen some level or degree of optimism that is encouraging you in this facility. Final card for our first five before we start getting clarity on these cards right now. May I please have the next card in our 5-card spread? We love this. We've got our Queen of Pentacles here. Queen of Pentacles coming into play right now with all energy. We love to see this. Masculine and feminine energy that is working right now in partnership or in union. This is that moment. Again, masculine, we saw masculine and feminine yesterday. We're going through some spaces or places that we're feeling very emotionally overwhelming, very emotionally challenging, having to operate in that state or place of feeling like there were a lot of triggers being hit. One of the appreciation points that we saw that was occurring right now in those partnerships was the fact that for both of those energies at this time, there is a recognition of the fact that you are working right now in a partnership that allows for this level or degree of not having those triggers getting hit. It's not creating those spaces of places of reactivity at times of stress. Instead, it is creating new possibilities, new approaches, productivity in the face of difficulty instead of reactivity. And this, again, for the masculine, this is what is reaffirming your connection right now in partnership. Feeling the stability and groundedness of the feminine energy in that modality, even in the face of circumstances and situations that can sometimes feel rather overwhelming and difficult at this time. For the feminine energy, you are also feeling that level or degree of support at this time in partnership that is helping you maintain a level of degree of positivity. For feminine right now, the feminine energy that is in partnership right now is just working very hard on themselves to continue to build that level or degree of stability for themselves at this moment. And again, it's not that things are necessarily easy at this time. It's that things are very kind of hard. There's a lot of opportunities being open right now in partnership, and there's a lot of blockages. Feminine's just doing their best to stay grounded as it relates to how they proceed forward from this point. For masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership at this moment, this is effectively also that make or break point that we're experiencing as it relates to whether the partnerships are coming together or not. For feminine, again, masculine and feminine yesterday, we saw that if you're trying to come into partnerships, there were some things happening that felt extremely triggering, extremely triggering for masculine energy. we identify. There was either a moment or degree of feeling that point of emotional overwhelm or emotional pulling back because the emotions were so strong. Masculine and feminine, there was even the possibility, and feminine also was in a space of being deeply vulnerable. The possibility for a reactive trigger to get hit was very high. The point of view that we're seeing right now is, again, for the feminine energy, we're actually seeing that if the feminine energy saw any of that level or degree of reactivity, of masculine not necessarily moving from a state or place of intentionality, but rather from a state of place of reactivity, this may have been that moment that is confirmed to the feminine that they're moving away from this possibility of partnership at this time. Why? Because this is, again, we keep seeing the feminine in this modality, a feminine energy that is prioritizing their sense of stability above all things. They are looking for energy that supports them in creating a stable environment at this time. Feminine energy is refusing to allow themselves to operate from a state or place of being triggered. Feminine energy is now looking at masculine, reacting like that, and feeling like the masculine is almost intentionally trying to trigger them at that point. The feminine energy that was observing this yesterday, and this is why I warned everyone not to move from a state of being triggered, to use that intentionality, not to utilize ultimatums, as it were, instead of looking for collaborative, constructive, positive ways forward. This is how the feminine energy is either confirming to themselves, if they saw that this is something that they can proceed to move forward with, or if this is a moment that the feminine is saying, no, I can't abide this type of energy. I can't abide this type of reaction. And this could have been a closure point for the feminine in potentially moving into a partnership cycle. While for the masculine energy right now, we are also seeing that this effectively occurred, that these two energies are mirroring one another. There may have been, again, a possibility or potentiality of reactivity yesterday as it relates to the trying to come into deeper union or partnership. Masculine, again, you were potentially looking at feminine and also recognizing or identifying if there was that point of reactivity. Masculine is effectively seeking to build and seek out and find feminine energy right now that is also from a place of stability at this point. That's what the masculine is looking for. So these two energies are effectively looking for the same thing. And for the masculine energy, however the feminine handled things yesterday was also giving some confirmation or affirmation to the masculine as to whether they wanted to proceed forward in this way. Identifying whether that feminine energy, again, same message, did the feminine energy come from a space or place of trying to utilize ultimatums, trying to have all of these situations that may have even felt to the masculine like this was a feminine energy that was trying to dodge out of doing their own work by instead putting ultimatums on the masculine. This was the masculine energy trying to identify and saying again, or was the feminine energy utilizing this as a point of productivity and creativity and collaboration? This is what was affirming to the masculine energy, whether this is a stable energy going forward right now, or if this is something that has to have a cycle closed out. So these energies are completely right now reflecting each other, even still, regardless of, again, but the problem around this is, again, whether they are using this moment to come into union, which is, this is like really that affirmation of continuing to come into union, or if this is more of that trigger point being hit that is now creating a space or place of separation. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation at this time, this is beautiful because this is going to feel like a little bit of that light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to feel like a little bit more of that cloud break. For feminine energy, there may have been a point where you were forcing yourself. You were forcing yourself to do the things that one would do when one is looking for partnership yesterday that you might not have even felt up for doing. You were dragging yourself out. You were dragging yourself to do something. You were dragging yourself to look at possibilities. You are potentially even compartmentalizing certain energy to identify if you are still allowing them in your life, like what degree they would be in your life at this time. But again, there's something right now that's feeling like a wave of optimism for the feminine energy that is in separation at this time, because it's almost identifying right now a continued affirmation not to go back to any of those blockages, not to go back to their hurdles, but instead recognizing that you're healing your own abandonment wound in the process. Instead, looking at the possibilities around you and recognizing and now feeling, instead of a sense of overwhelm, a sense of kind of like eagerness and optimism potentially coming into these right now as it relates to feeling like you're not alone, that there are going to be other possibilities out here. And this is what is further grounding you at this moment. While for the masculine energy that is in separation at this time, this is also going to feel like a point of easement. We saw that yesterday was a very difficult day for masculine energy that was in separation. I even warned for the masculine energy that was in separation yesterday, and I did warn this for the feminine as well, because these energies were reflecting one another, to be very cautious if you have some habits or unhealthy coping mechanisms, because we did see that the possibility of them coming out was very strong due to some of this emotionally overwhelming energy that we experienced yesterday. But today we see that for the masculine, there is also a point of catharsis that is effectively being reached right now, because what we're really seeing even in separation at this time, that today is feeling like a bit more positivity. Why? Because masculine energy coming into this state or space of vulnerability is not lost work. We are seeing here that this is not lost work on the part of the masculine, because what is happening as masculine, as you go forward and you have these moments of deep emotional vulnerability, you are unlocking parts of your own self. You are healing your own abandonment wound, even in separation right now. So even yesterday, there may have been this feeling, masculine energy, if you were in separation yesterday, of potentially even feeling or like a level or degree of hitting like rock bottom, or feeling like you hit some rock bottom moment. And this is the moment that like you're almost feeling that point of catharsis right now, because again, you either like release that energy, you maybe even like communicated. This could even indicate right now masculine energy that is healing by means of blocking. This could even be a masculine energy. Again, this is either you trying to address the blockage in communication, or this is you further confirming and enforcing the block in communication at this time. Because again, this is either a masculine energy right now, and these are the two modalities that we're seeing at this moment. This is either a masculine energy right now that is focusing on new opportunities, on new experiences going forward, feeling this level or degree of not recognizing a possibility of being able to heal something. Or this is a masculine energy right now that is still trying to heal this connection with feminine. There's something here about potentially continuing to try to heal this connection with feminine and just trying to figure out how. Again, either new possibilities or trying to heal the connection with a particular feminine energy. Either way. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between Sun card in combination with our Eight of Wands in its reversal. We have here, can I please get one card to clarify? Chariot. Chariot. We love to see this card right now for all energies at play, because this is speaking about the power and the strength of feeling like you are in alignment with the energy that's around you at this time. For masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership at this moment, what we're effectively identifying at this time is, again, there's a moment that you are recognizing. It's not that you don't see the hurdles. It's not that you don't see the blockages. It's not that you're not seeing the problems. You're just going to steer around them. You're going to steer around them. You're going to continue to move forward towards your goals at this time. You are feeling the power of the unification that you're creating around you right now to effectively overcome any of these challenges, almost to the point that you're disregarding them as they come by, because it's almost like your collective momentum that you're finding in partnership is really kind of reaffirming to you the power of the partnership itself. It's almost feeling like a wave that is like affecting change as it goes forward. And that's what's helping you navigate some of the blockages and hurdles at this time. It's like water off your back, if you will, as you're going through this. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving into partnership at this time, this is, again, what are we seeing here? This was the make or the break moment that we identified yesterday. Either confirmation, cut of communication, moving back into separation, looking at something and saying that this isn't going to work, we're done. Or having that moment of productivity, having that moment of collaboration, feeling like instead of being oppositional to one another, we're moving at a moment that felt like it was a collaborative movement forward. And that was that point that is showing you now the ability to move into divine union. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, the feminine energy right now, this is feeling that light at the end of the tunnel. There's something that the feminine is seeing today. Feminine energy literally forced themselves into this vibration yesterday. Feminine energy was like, I'm going to go do that hard thing that I don't want to do. I'm going to drag myself out. I'm going to make myself get dressed. I'm going to make myself go online. I'm going to make myself do the things I need to do. Maybe even allowing in some energy from the past that you recognize was not allowing you that level or degree of union or partnership, and at least articulating to them and saying, this is where you live from now on. This is what I give you from now on. And it's giving feminine a path forward. It's creating that level or degree of clarity for the feminine. It's seeing some point of optimism here, because something that you're now seeing is reinforcing and reminding you that your manifestation goal is still present. You just need to find the place that it's going to exist and lie. For masculine energy that is in separation right now, this is also going to feel like a bit of easement today. For masculine energy that is in separation at this time, this is either hitting that rock bottom moment yesterday, just kind of identifying and articulating to yourself that either something that you're trying to heal, you don't feel the confidence in trying to heal. There could be a moment here where you just don't feel like you have the words. We saw the fact that masculine energy wants to heal something right now. They want to find the words to heal something. They want to find a way to come forward at this time. You're feeling this blockage to such a degree that it's like almost like you don't know how to say, because some of this emotional vulnerability that you're feeling is too overwhelming. It's like creating a space or place where you're left speechless. For some of the masculine energy right now, this speechlessness, this inability to communicate how you're feeling or seeing something around these circumstances that feels like it's too vulnerable to do so at this time, is what is giving you the empowerment to continue onward, away from these circumstances and situations. For the other part of the masculine collective in separation right now, this isn't the blockage is not a blockage. The blockage you're recognizing is a blockage of the self. You're doing that internal work right now to try to figure out how to persist forward through it. You're not letting it effectively hold you back. You're not letting yourself hinder you. Again, you're moving towards a feminine manifestation despite the hurdles, despite the blockages. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Eight of Wands and its reversal in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. We love this. We've got our Two of Pentacles in its reversal. For masculine and feminine energy right now, one of the things that we're really seeing that is feeling like something that is very empowering at this time is there is a moment that you are experiencing at this moment that is really just continuing to unify your choices. As we indicated, one of the difficulties in relation to some of the energy that has been happening around the partnered energies has been this feeling of segmentation, of separation between the priorities that were being demanded upon the parties in the partnership versus feeling like you are unified in your goals. This was more of that shedding process that we've been effectively identifying over the last few weeks as it relates to the partnered energies, trying to find a way to consolidate and unify their resources or their energy to move in a very direct way forward. We're seeing that happening in a big way at this time. And again, there's something that's almost coming through here that feels like it is a consolidation, that it is coming into a space or place where it's like finding a way not to feel like things are carried separately, but to unify them is the path forward in the partnership that is now feeling like it is reaching that level or degree of easement. There could even be a moment right now with the partnered energies in, again, trying to keep saying to one another, how can we align our goals? How can we align our ideals to make it easier going forward from this point? This is why the partners are effectively continuing stronger through difficulties or hurdles right now, because again, it is about the difference, as I said yesterday, about when something difficult happens. Do you fall apart or do you fall together? Something yesterday in the partnerships effectively gave further confirmation about falling together instead of apart. And this is what is continuing to empower and unify this movement in the partnered energies as they proceed forward from this point. While for the masculine and feminine energy, moving into partnership right now or trying to come into union, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. This is also that confirmation yesterday that either made or broke something, because that was lying on the confirmation as to whether you felt like you could unify your goals. You had different desires. You had the same goal with different ideas as to how to reach it. This was that moment that either showed a huge communication blockage, an inability to unify your goals as opposed to your own desires in terms of how you wanted to hold something, or this is that cutoff point. Both energy, okay with it. There's a catharsis point because both energies are affirming that they're trying to heal the abandonment wound in the process. You're not moving in a space or place of triggering. You're just observing the facts as they are. This either created a block in communication or further unification of goals, hence leading to potentially more movement towards divine union. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation at this time, this is effectively, again, identifying and recognizing what your priority is at this time. Feminine energy that is moving forward right now from a point of separation. There was a moment right now, again, feminine energy is confirming that they don't want to be juggled. They don't want to be juggled. They are focusing right now on what it is that they truly seek. Feminine energy wants divine union. Feminine energy is focusing on divine union. Feminine energy is not moving in a space or place where they want to be juggled if it's not clear that they're moving in that degree. And that is what is healing the feminine energy at this time. It's giving them that further sense of empowerment because feminine energy is effectively recognizing by, again, either articulating to certain energy, I see and recognize what this is and this is a limitation on this right now, or abandoning anyone that was feeling like they were juggling them without being clear or open about their intentionality. And this is how the feminine energy is healing right now. This is feminine just being like, absolutely not, under no circumstances. Doesn't matter how much I care about someone. Doesn't matter my feelings. I refuse to be juggled. Now for the masculine energy right now, this is also a moment that we are seeing that you are also coming into a state or space of deeper healing. Masculine energy yesterday may have, again, hit a bit of a rock bottom moment as it relates to your own emotionality around circumstances and situations, particularly if you are in separation at this time. Masculine energy, again, we now see that the energies have unified to one or two different approaches right now. This is masculine energy that is either, again, they're experiencing some moment or situation or circumstance where you have this need or ability or desire to communicate with some energy, but you're not necessarily sure how. It's feeling triggering. It is feeling triggering because you're seeing the fact that you are feeling the need to run away rather than being vulnerable. This is the masculine abandonment wound coming to the forefront. Do I communicate something, not sure how it will be received? For the masculine energy, we're seeing the one or two different modalities that are effectively coming into play here because you're confronting your own abandonment when you potentially are now recognizing you're doing this right now, masculine. You can probably see it, which is why, again, even now at that moment of hitting rock bottom, it may have felt like a point of catharsis because you're climbing back out of it, because something about hitting that point of rock bottom yesterday actually helped you really understand what it is that you want more than anything. And what it is that you want more than anything right now is that thing that is effectively helping you heal, because it's helping clear out, it's helping you confront your own fears. And now it's that moment of at least understanding and identifying what it is that you truly want. And you're seeing your fears about going after it. That's helping you decide what to do at this time. So again, a lot of deep healing right now for the masculine energy it's heavy work, I gotta say. It's heavy work for the masculine energy right now that is in separation. But it's really helping you really focus on what it is that truly matters to you at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Five of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Cups. May I please have one card to clarify? Is that transverse? That's transverse. That makes perfect sense that this would be transverse. Perfect sense that would be transverse. What are we seeing right now for the energies together? So again, masculine energy across the board yesterday. It was a hard day for masculine energy. It was very emotionally triggering. Depending on how you carry your emotions yesterday, masculine, this was like you holding a lot of this within you, or unpacking it or releasing it, right? This is you like just processing, but it does feel like today was like something about yesterday that just helped like take the pressure off of things. It was almost like that tipping point, and now there's like this point of like, whew, got that out of my system kind of thing, okay? Now, for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is in partnership, this could be that moment that like feminine, you could even identify that yesterday was like a real doozy for the masculine. You may even be seeing like there's something about the masculine energy right now that just kind of like almost like needs to be horizontal. You know, like they're just going through a moment. Masculine might not be feeling super motivated right now in partnership to do anything right now. Feminine energy, you're probably like, I get it. Yesterday was a lot. You're allowed to have this minute right now that you just kind of like breathe easy and kick back a little bit in terms of like trying to push forward on things. Because we've been seeing that this energy has been pushing forward on things a lot, especially yesterday. Now, for the masculine and for the feminine energy in partnership right now, this could be effectively like having a moment right now. And I think that it's really important right now for the feminine that's seeing this, having this masculine energy in this state or space of listlessness right now. Not letting yourself get triggered by it. Because for feminine energy right now, again, feminine energy is much more working on building this sense of like grounding and stability right now. This could be feeling like a point of potentially a little bit more frustration towards seeing the energy in this modality today. So I want to say if you're in partnership, remember that everybody heals differently. Everybody needs different things to heal. For feminine right now, that healing is putting a lot of practical effort into things, okay? That's what we're seeing is happening. For masculine, there's something here about allowing this like moment to just like, they're feeling a little overwhelmed. They just need a minute is what I'm seeing. So be a little kind right now. If you're in partnership, giving masculine a little bit of this like breathing room, okay? Masculine, you may be feeling the fact like the reason you're in this vibration is exactly, and this is what feminine needs to understand. You're relaxing because of the partnership. You're not freaking out because of the partnership. You're just chilling right now because, again, it's almost validating to you that something overwhelming happened yesterday. And the fact that you can come through it so easily, come on the other side, and even like feel like a need to relax right now is why you value the partnership. So this is almost like that further confirmation to a certain extent for the masculine as to like why they value and appreciate partnership at this moment. While for masculine and feminine energy, trying to move into partnership at this time, this is again, whether this was a make or break moment for masculine and feminine coming into partnership, okay? Because what we're effectively identifying for the energy that was trying to come into partnership yesterday is yesterday we saw that there was a heavy energy coming into play about watching the other person to see if there was a point of ability to be able to collaborate, to find productive pathways forward on difficult situations and circumstances, or if it was going to create a trigger point. Were you going to fall together or were you going to fall apart? For masculine and feminine, both saw that yesterday in what was occurring. Masculine saw feminine become very vulnerable and potentially, again, either work from a state of ultimatums instead of collaboration. Feminine, you may have been seeing masculine energy come into a place of emotional overwhelm, and you were watching as to whether they could articulate upon it or whether they were lashing out or pulling back. That was also your confirmation point. Feminine energy right now is effectively moving through this right now, again, recognizing that this is a masculine that has shown some ability or degree to heal, someone who is willing to face their abandonment wounds, and it's leaving the possibility of partnership open because this is a masculine energy that is not afraid to show a point of vulnerability. That's what the feminine was needing to see yesterday to be able to move forward into partnership. Masculine trying to come into partnership right now, there is a moment of having to feel like you could be vulnerable. Again, looking towards feminine and feeling like there was a point of view of having the feminine recognize how vulnerable you had made yourself that needed to be seen. That is also, again, either confirming to you that this is a feminine energy that you can move forward on because they're building that point of stability for you, or if you're moving forward, if this is not what you're seeking. Now, for masculine and feminine in separation at this time, this is, again, that moment of catharsis that's effectively being reached right now. And it has to do with the fact that for feminine right now, while you may have forced yourself into spaces and places that you didn't feel comfortable or even like you desired to yesterday, you're seeing the results of that push forward today. You're seeing here that there are opportunities, there are options available to you. It's helping you come into a space or place of deeper healing. It's further confirming that you're not moving back to situations and circumstances that would have had you be in that space or place of wanting something that you know that someone did not want to give you. Now, for the feminine energy going through this right now, again, This is either the feminine energy leaving themselves open right now to multiple different manifestations of potential masculine right now to effectively see. There's the only problem with feminine right now that's happening is the fact that for some of the feminine energy right now, some of this energy that you're leaving yourself open to right now, the book's it's like the book's open. It's a question as to whether this energy stands in its integrity or not. Feminine energy is now like doing like a bit of a vetting process, if you will, for new possibilities of masculine energy to see if they stand in their integrity, right? For the other part of the feminine collective right now, this is again, potentially, this is where you're trying to like keep something open while also moving forward at this time. This is either again, coming back into contact with some energy that you recognize that is giving you indication that they do not desire long-term like union, but also being like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but this is all you get right now. And this is feminine also affirming to that energy, again, that they're keeping their own options open. And that's just the moment. It's almost like, again, this moment where, again, it's almost like more of a fact of the feminine kind of seeing how the masculine has to effectively deal with this, whether they can deal with this. Recognizing that masculine effectively asked for this from the part of the feminine without asking for it by effectively affirming to the feminine that they did not want union or partnership. While for masculine energy in separation at this time, this is also a moment that we are identifying for the masculine energy. This is at that point of exhaustion that we identify for masculine energy and separation at this point. Because what we're really identifying for the masculine energy and separation at this point is this is some of that exhaustion that you may have reached yesterday. Yesterday was extremely emotionally overwhelming yesterday for the masculine. There was a lot of emotional overwhelm coming to the forefront. For masculine right now, again, this is that moment that we are either seeing that you are effectively looking at some situations and circumstances. This is you, again, hitting a little bit of that like potential rock bottom feeling yesterday. Still kind of in a state or space of recovery. But again, you're feeling like taking this time for yourself is very healing as you try to consider the possibilities going forward. Again, this is either a masculine energy that is considering the possibilities as it relates to trying to heal something that they now realize is their heart's desire, or this is a masculine energy that is preparing to effectively like open themselves up to new opportunities, new possibilities, new experiences. But in both cases, it's almost masculine needing to take some time for themselves today to heal the abandonment wound. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Cups in combination with our Queen of Pentacles. So, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Cups. We love to see this right now for all of the energies. For masculine and feminine energy, again, this is the beauty of the partnership. This is the beauty of the divine union. Not necessarily seeing hurdles. Recognizing blockages for blockages. Recognizing how far something can go. Recognizing the limitation around situations or scenarios. Not letting it block you. Just again, as we've been indicating, having to say we're going to have to go the long way instead of the short way. This is further continuation, but it's leaving the door open on new possibilities, new opportunities, new experiences. This is allowing yourself not to be let down or frustrated by the blockage points, but recognizing that for every door that closes, this is going to feel a lot like in the partnerships, like 7 more windows or doors are opening. You're not getting too stressed about it. Because again, the partnership is reinforcing that feeling. Masculine, you're feeling this right now, especially because the thing that you value about your feminine energy is that they themselves you may even identify that you see this in them. That this is not a feminine energy that is easily swayed from what they're trying to do. That instead, that they just refocus, they redouble their efforts when they hit a wall, when they hit a blockage. And that is what's further empowering you to feel the security of the partnership. So much so that today might be a day where you're just kind of kicking back a little bit. You're not pushing as hard. You're feeling the security of the feminine energy to kind of like give you some space or place to heal from something that was very like emotionally and spiritually difficult yesterday. While for feminine energy right now, this is feeling the supportive environment that the partnership creates. that allows you to continue to focus on building this stability. This is a masculine energy we're seeing. The feminine appreciates that this is a masculine energy in partnership that encourages and supports and tries to assist the feminine as they continue to build stability for themselves. And that is what's further incredibly, again, building the sense of feminine being able to create stability for the partnered energies as they proceed forward from this point. Feminine energy is feeling supported in their own need to create stability at this time, which is giving the feminine energy even more ways to figure out things that can be supportive. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is moving into partnership. This was, again, the make or break moment that we were seeing. This was either the moment that there was a point reached yesterday in partnership for both masculine and feminine energy. For feminine, this was masculine, looking at masculine and trying to identify if this is a masculine could stand at a point of integrity and not let themselves move from a state or place of reactivity. This was either feminine seeing that in the reaction of the masculine around some triggering circumstances and situations. It's giving feminine energy the security of feeling like there are possibilities open to them as it relates to building something stable with this energy. Or this was a feminine energy that did not see that they did not see the masculine energy coming from a point of integrity, did not see the masculine energy coming from a space of being able to move with intentionality instead of reactivity. And this is a moment that the feminine is also potentially walking away from something, opening up their options again, but feeling secure in that choice. For masculine, absolute mirroring if you are trying to move into partnership. Because again, you are looking towards the feminine right now to identify if the feminine was also coming from a state or space that they were not going to be triggered, that they could move from intentionality, that you guys were falling together through something that was hard instead of falling apart. Again, identifying if this is a feminine energy that can remain stable through difficult situations and circumstances. And this was either the confirmation that you needed that is giving you the confidence to continue to consider how to go forward here, or if it's walking away. Though I will point out, for the masculine energy right now, that's trying to move forward to a certain degree and potential towards this feminine energy, it could be feeling a little overwhelming, because it could almost be a moment where you're feeling a little staggered about how well feminine energy is able to maintain that point of balance. Masculine and feminine energy right now that's in separation, this is what's allowing the feminine energy to feel confident to walk away from something right now. Feminine energy is feeling the ability to be able to build stability for themselves at this moment. They're seeing the opportunities around them at this time. This is literally the clearing of the cycle. This is confirming to feminine energy that they've seen what they needed to see within themselves to give them the confidence to walk away from something. Or if not to walk away from something, to walk away from the possibility of something with someone else. More of that compartmentalization that we effectively saw. Feminine was still allowing some of this energy in to basically say, you're now in my life, but only under these limitations, recognizing that you don't desire partnership with me. While for masculine that is in separation at this time, what we're effectively seeing is, this is a lot of that rock bottom moment that you may have felt yesterday that you're now effectively trying to move out of. Today could feel like a lot of catharsis, because whatever you felt at that moment of feeling so emotionally low almost refocused your efforts on what it is that you truly seek at this time. This is either, a moment that you are walking away from something and you're opening up your possibilities at this moment, or you are walking away from possibilities to try to move back towards a manifestation of feminine that you have decided wants to be your divine union partner. Continuing to get clarification on these cards between our Chariot in combination with our Two of Pentacles in its reversal. So, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Nine of Wands. So, what are we seeing right now? Masculine and feminine energy right now that's in partnership. I need to stress. Yesterday, there were some situations or circumstances that were not easy. It's not about the fact that things are easy. This is what is validating the partnership. It's the fact that, when there are hard things that happen, do you fall apart or do you fall together? This is effectively actually like almost happening in real time right now with the energy. It's the fact that even while there are some things that are very heavy to bear right now, it's not that it is tearing the partnership apart. It is unifying. It is circling the wagons. It is bringing a consolidated view to circumstances and situations that is helping you navigate any hurdles and challenges right now. This is the power of the divine union partnerships at this moment. While for masculine and feminine energy trying to move into divine union at this time, this is a moment that we are effectively identifying that through this work, we are now seeing again, there was either a moment yesterday that was reached that you identified that there was a path forward, or this is something that needs to be healed. This is that moment that helped you get that point of confirmation. Depending on whether you felt like you were navigating the difference, what was the difference we saw for the energies trying to come into union yesterday? Having the same goals, having very different opinions on how to get there. For half of the energy right now, this lack of being able to unify on your perspective, on your plans, on your path going forward is the confirmation that the partnership cannot occur. You're moving forward elsewhere. Or you saw yesterday, you identified that you could do this. And this is now a moment that you are feeling the point of rushing, like moving forward through something that felt like it was a challenge. And this is a healing moment. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. Feminine energy, listen. Feminine energy right now, the only thing feminine energy is trying to navigate right now, if they're in separation, is the fact that feminine energy does kind of feel to a certain degree. It's almost like the observation right now for feminine. This could be feeling like a lot of switching of modalities right now, feminine, if you're in separation. We like to see this actually, because right now for the feminine, it's almost like feminine intentionally recognizing that there's either two ways that they could carry something, that they could kind of allow themselves to continue to hold on to the weight, to the sadness of the fact that they're moving away from something that they may have aspired or desired for, or they could use that to empower them. Feminine energy is like almost potentially even feeling like they're switching back and forth on this, but feminine energy is effectively potentially even trying to like make the choice right now and saying like, I need to choose. This is feminine energy going, I need to literally choose. Am I going to let myself sit here in a depressive slump? Am I going to let myself sit here like bemoaning how I feel and just getting worse? Or am I going to use this to fuel me? Am I going to pour this gasoline on myself, or am I going to put it in my jetpack? That's effectively what feminine's doing right now. And feminine's effectively like, that's how feminine energy is helping themselves through this. They're like, am I going to pour the gasoline on myself, or am I going to put it in the jetpack? Probably going to stick to the jetpack. Let's stick it in the jetpack. It's a better place to put it. That's how the feminine's navigating this right now. While for masculine right now in separation, honestly, it might kind of feel like the same thing. It's honestly kind of feeling like the same thing, because we're seeing here that for the masculine energy right now, there's a bit in separation. It's kind of the same feeling. This is kind of this moment of masculine looking at themselves and kind of like recognizing that they're being like, you might even be observing masculine, that you may be feeling like, you know, you're trying to say to yourself like, am I going to sit here like dwelling in my self-pity, or am I going to actually do something about the circumstance or situation? Like, am I going to sit here and I'm going to let myself feel a victim of my own actions? Or am I going to do something about it? Like, what am I going to do? Like, masculine energy is going back and forth. And like for masculine, this is a lot harder right now. For the masculine energy, I have to say, this is going to be feeling more of a moment, masculine energy, where again, you may have felt like you hit a point of rock bottom yesterday if you were in separation, and you're still kind of under that, is what we're seeing. You're still kind of under that. And the difficulty around this right now for the masculine that's experiencing this is, again, we're seeing that for a lot of the masculine energy right now that's caught between a rock and a hard place, it's the fact or the observation that something about this choice going forward is a lot harder this time. Either, again, because you're changing your tactic, you're changing your approach, even as you go forward, and you're not sure about how that's going to work because you haven't done it like that before. Or this is you effectively trying, and you effectively are doing this because you've given up. You're trying to give up on something that you don't want to let go of, but you're just feeling the anxiety or the inability to communicate on it. Or this is masculine energy trying to decide how to come towards someone that they know it's going to be hard. They know it's going to be difficult. They know that this is almost going to feel like opening a wound in order to heal it. And they're also kind of struggling with how to do so. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Pentacles in its reversal and our King of Swords in its transverse. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Oh my goodness, the Magician's back and they're in the reversal. What are we seeing right now? Now, for the masculine and the feminine energy right now that's in partnership, today is feeling like masculine specifically right now in partnership. There's like a moment of not really feeling like you want to get anything done, or feeling like kind of like things aren't getting. I almost feel like masculine's like, I'm not like masculine in partnership might kind of be like, I'm making the intentional choice not to get anything done today. Like, it's really kind of the difference right now. I think the funny thing is about this right now for the partnered energies, which could kind of like point out something a little frustrating for the feminine, is this like almost like masculine saying like, I did a lot of work yesterday. Yesterday was really hard. I'm going to like not do anything today. But also it's the fact that masculine may be trying to articulate to the feminine in this vibration, like, I'm making the choice to do this. Like, I'm making the choice. I am choosing to do this because I'm exhausted right now. While for feminine right now, you could be seeing the masculine in this vibration right now, and maybe not even understanding it, because we did see the fact that for the feminine, there's something that they were also feeling like the same energy or the same level. This could even be, I need to stress, for some of the masculine energy, like whatever you had to go through yesterday, even if it was emotionally overwhelming, this could be masculine being, not only do I not want to do anything, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Whatever it was, I don't want to talk about it. It's fine. It's over. The Band-Aid has been ripped off. It's like, it's fine. Let's just move on, if you will, right? Feminine, you may be seeing this. The problem with feminine right now is that feminine may be like trying to encourage this out of masculine. Feminine might be like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to? Because she's like, feminine's trying to like work more and like building this like stable environment, being like, maybe we should unpack this. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. Are you sure there's not something I can do? And masculine's like, no, you don't need to do anything. Don't need to do anything. I'm fine. Okay. Now, for the masculine and the feminine energy right now, that is coming into partnership. And it's a little hard. I need to stress, feminine may be feeling a little frustration because feminine might like want masculine to have a little bit more like get up and go, like giddy up today, because feminine is like concentrating on doing stuff. So there is a bit of like different modalities coming into play, because something about masculine being in this vibration is kind of somehow impacting feminine, because I feel like the masculine isn't very helpful today. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving into partnership at this moment, what we're effectively identifying is, again, this was that make or break point. This was that make or break point, looking at some circumstances and situations and saying, where did you fall? Did we fall together or did we fall apart? Now, for the masculine right now, there's potentially a moment, even if this is the ongoing pursuit of some kind of partnership opportunity here, there's still a little uncertainty as it relates to what to do at this time. There could have been a moment that was reached yesterday that felt like it was overwhelming, that may have even been put on hold. Like there may still need to be some point of action that masculine may need to take. I will even point out right now that this could be a masculine that kind of conceded to something yesterday, but hasn't really enacted upon it. And this is, again, and this could even be the same thing, feeling for feminine. There may have been an agreement yesterday in terms of how to move forward. Now is the time to see how that works. For masculine and feminine energy right now that is in that point of trying to come into partnership right now, this is that moment that you're potentially looking at each other and being like, okay, now what? What do we do now? Like, we agreed to something yesterday. So again, if this is the energy that is coming together right now, we agreed to some stuff yesterday. Are you ready to do those things? Are you ready to do those things? And feeling, again, a little bit of that slowness, especially for masculine who's feeling like a little emotionally exhausted. This could be feminine kind of pushing this forward right now and seeing a masculine that's like, don't push, don't rush. Just give me the time I need, okay? Feminine, this could be feeling like a point of anxiety if you're trying to come into partnership right now, because you're wondering right now if this is actually a masculine energy that's telling you that they're too exhausted or too busy to do something, or if you're worrying that this is a masculine energy that's like actually going to do it. Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is again feminine energy focusing on what it is that they truly want. Feminine energy is at a moment right now where the thing that feminine energy has decided that they don't want. Feminine energy is actually navigating forward right now, not with, it's actually really interesting because feminine energy is seeking partnership, but they're leaving the door open on what it is. Feminine energy is using the process of elimination right now in terms of what they don't want. Feminine, if you're in this vibration, you may want to work on like setting those manifestation goals, because it's more like feminine's like, all I want right now, if you're in separation, is a masculine energy that stands in their integrity and is not manipulative. That stands in their integrity, that is completely forthright and open and is not manipulative. That's all feminine is saying. And feminine is potentially even doing a vetting process right now with the energy around them, if they're allowing in other options or opportunities to try to navigate and just be like, what do you want? And are you trying to run a game? Or what do you want? Just be honest and open with what you want. And are you like trying to run a game? Because again, this is still a feminine energy that's working through a deep space of healing. And there is something here about the feminine energy, even in separation right now going forward. And it's feeling frustrating because this isn't a feminine energy doing this with like a lot of like, yay, options. It's more like, are you awful? Like, are you going to be like, please don't be awful. It's like really like the bar is on the floor to a certain extent here with some of this energy, because feminine energy is really focusing right now and being like, as long as you're open and not manipulative, like there's opportunities here. While for masculine energy right now, and again, if feminine energy is even allowing in energy right now of in masculine energy that they feel was not open, that effectively turned down the opportunity or option for divine partnership, this is a bit of the problem, because this is how feminine energy is effectively viewing that right now. This is kind of like a door that's been opened, but there is no trust between these energies right now, given the fact that the feminine energy feels like that past energy misled them as it relates to their intentions. Now, for the masculine energy in separation right now, this is that moment that you are also feeling this level or degree of exhaustion at this time. You are also recognizing, again, there could be a point of observation that you're looking at right now as to how you understand and identify how some of your past ways of navigating things may have come across as manipulative. They may have come across as viewed in a bad light or in the wrong context. They could be seen that way. This is almost masculine energy conceding. Masculine energy, if you've been doing this work right now, this is why we see yesterday might have been so heavy. There was almost a coming to terms with some situations or circumstances. And this could be a moment right now that could be feeling really difficult, because again, this is you effectively recognizing that you are either taking a new tactic going forward that is going to be much more direct, much more upfront, not allowing it to seem like you're juggling things, because you're going to be very, very articulate going forward. But again, it's really hard because you've never done it like this before. Or this is masculine energy that's trying to repair a connection with past energy. The problem is you have full perception on how this past energy views you. How does this past energy view you? Manipulative, intentionally having misled them, intentionally having broken something. And this is the problem with the masculine energy, because it's almost recognizing and understanding that you have to figure out a way forward to try to heal something that needs to start with you observing how your actions may have been perceived as such. This is that accountability that, again, is either requiring the masculine energy, if they're trying to move back into connection with the feminine, to take accountability for their past actions, or again, bridge too far, moving forward instead of coming into that state or space of integrity. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between King of Swords and his transverse in combination with our Eight of Cups. May I please have one card to clarify? Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. So again, masculine and feminine energy right now. This is why the masculine energy is taking this moment to just relax, because masculine energy is effectively paying it forward. There could be something about the masculine right now that's saying to yourself, if you're in partnership, I'm just going to take a break from something right now. I'll double my efforts tomorrow. There's a bit of procrastination coming into play right now if you're in partnership masculine, because you're like actually making the intentional choice. And I think that this is the problem for masculine and feminine right now in partnership, because feminine is very much building, like working very hard right now. Masculine's giving themselves like a little vacation today from some things. And masculine's like, listen, it's okay that I take this break right now because I'm going to double my efforts tomorrow. Feminine's either cool with that, or feminine's going to feel like they're having to pick up a little bit of the slack for masculine right now, and they may feel a little bit overtasked or overburdened as a result. For masculine and feminine energy moving into partnership right now, this is again the make or break moment. Did you double invest? Did you over invest? Or do you walk away? Now, this is the problem right now. This is the problem right now for the feminine energy coming into partnership. Because what did the feminine energy learn during the Venus in retrograde cycle? Feminine energy confirmed to themselves that they were not going to over invest in something that does not give back to them in kind. This could be feminine energy feeling like there's something that they need to do that on right now. And it's creating a space for feminine right now that they're feeling a little bit of that trigger point, because this is something that the feminine told themselves that they wouldn't do. So again, this is either feminine energy being willing to overinvest in something or walk away. And it entirely depends on whether they feel like the masculine energy right now is standing in their integrity. What would indicate to the feminine energy that the masculine was standing in their integrity? If their words follow their action, which is why, again, feminine energy is staying focused on saying, I need to see that you can do this. While for masculine right now, coming into partnership, this could even be a feminine trying to articulate to the masculine and saying, I am not making this an ultimatum. This is not an ultimatum. This is me needing confirmation that what you said, you can act upon, right? That's not and feminine potentially even having to articulate to masculine right now the difference between an ultimatum, which is if you don't do this, I'm going to do that, versus them saying, I need to see that you can hold to your word. While for masculine right now, you could potentially be feeling like this from the feminine right now. Again, there's some situation or circumstance that felt like a bit of a make or break point for the masculine and feminine energy that was trying to come into partnership yesterday. If this has already happened, it's already like gone. That energy's now moved back into separation mode. If not, this is again more of the masculine energy feeling the weight of the choice that they're effectively having to make at this time, because you could potentially still be recognizing that this is something that you have agreed to towards feminine. You've made these choices. And this is also a moment that you are potentially recognizing right now that if you want to come into partnership with something, you've got to commit to it. And that overcommitment is going to require you to have to walk away from some things and potentially even like show the feminine energy in some way, shape, or form that you've done so. Masculine and feminine energy that is moving, that is in separation right now. This is feminine energy staying committed to the path that they've been setting themselves on. Feminine energy is willing to walk away from manifestations of masculine that do not show the ability to stand in integrity. And I have to say right now, for the feminine energy that's in this vibration, this is like kill switch. This is like one pink flag. This is like one delicately pink object will now be enough. This is feminine that's so triggered right now, that's working right now from such a space that they don't even want to be doing this. I need to stress this. They don't even want to be seeking. That even the slightest misstep, from masculine is going to be a minute that they just completely walk away. Simultaneously, like the minute the feminine energy finds a masculine right now that's standing in their integrity, it's going to be like amazing. 5 stars. because this is feminine right now. That's just like really like, it's like calling masculine energy to task in a big way, because feminine is staying committed to the fact that they don't want to overinvest in masculine energy that does not show a level of degree of integrity. Now, for masculine right now, and again, potentially even allowing masculine energy that doesn't stand in their integrity back in, but being like, I want you to know that this is how I see you. I want you to know exactly that this is how I see you. While for masculine right now, that is in separation, this is effectively, again, masculine energy right now that if in separation, yesterday was exhausting. Yesterday was a huge emotional weight, potentially very triggering, a lot to carry. Today may be a day that you're just kind of taking, you may even be feeling like emotionally or even physically exhausted due to yesterday. For the masculine energy in separation at this time, this is effectively that moment that we're recognizing that is that make or break moment here. Because again, it's what you realized in that moment of hitting that point of rock bottom, if you will. It really helped focus on what it is that you truly want at this time. And the problem here with the masculine that's feeling like this is you realize that this is either something that you're going to have to commit your full effort and energy in. You're going to have to like really show to some level or degree that you have changed, that you've done this work, that you recognize what needed to be fixed, or you need to walk away from something because you're recognizing that whatever these circumstances or situations are, it's a question of your integrity. Your integrity is the thing that's being questioned. And now is a moment that you recognize that like you may even be feeling like you need to stand in your integrity in a way that you haven't before. And that's either going to feel like something that feels like a huge investment to be able to come back into integrity with someone, or it's a moment that feels like it's a bridge too far and you have to and you potentially decide to walk away. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Nine of Swords in combination with our Magician in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. We love this. We've got our Five of Wands in its reversal. So, masculine and feminine energy in partnership. This is the easement. It's not that you're going through difficult things. You're going through things that like feel like there are challenges. There is some feeling of blockages or limitations right now. Masculine, you're feeling like exhausted. You're almost feeling like you're not, you don't want to do anything. This is almost more of an intentional choice today, masculine. Feminine, you're feeling your own lack of limitations. You're feeling your own frustration on yourself right now, feminine. But again, the partnership makes this easier. The reason the partnership persists is because it makes it easier to bear as you navigate forward from this point. Masculine and feminine energy right now trying to come into divine union. This is a moment that we're effectively seeing that again, this is that make or break. There's something that is difficult and there's something that could be easy. And this could even be something right now that is like kind of the point right now in the energies trying to come into partnership, which is this doesn't have to be difficult. This could be very easy. More than anything right now, one of the things that's happening in the partnerships that's being observed is whether someone is taking something that should be very easy and for some reason it's becoming difficult. Because I need to warn right now, this is the trigger switch that feminine is looking for right now to decide whether they want to continue into partnership with energy. What did I just say? Now you're seeing it, aren't you? Now you're seeing how the separated feminine energy and the energy of feminine in partnership are now mirroring each other. Feminine is saying, I'm asking you to do something that should be very easy. If it's hard, that's because you're making it hard. That's because you're making it difficult. So again, more of that potentiality rising up right now for the energies coming into partnership. Because again, feminine energy is now keeping an eye on the masculine and saying, are you actually going to do something? Or are you telling me excuses? Are you giving me reasons that you can't do it? Are you taking something that should be easy and making it very hard? Because now if feminine energy sees this, they're going to observe this as masculine energy potentially intentionally manipulating the situation to make something harder than it needs to be. While for the other part, again, for the feminine energy that sees masculine doing this, feminine's gonna be like, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you for showing me that you can do that. Just great. We're good. That would be then moving into like partnership. Now, for the masculine energy right now, this is that moment that you are feeling that there's a make or break point happening. Because at the moment, you are recognizing something that feels like it is limiting your own point of self-empowerment. Because yes, coming into partnership requires compromise. You have to make choices together instead of at a point of autonomy. So right now, masculine, your sense of autonomy is being challenged as you move into partnership. And you're either seeing this as something and recognizing that it is going to make things easier. You're understanding and identifying it. You're seeing your understanding. You're going, okay, yes. Or you're struggling with that choice. You're struggling with that decision. You're struggling with making that choice. You may even be recognizing to yourself right now and being like, I have to decide right now. This is that moment, I think, for masculine. It's like understanding the difference between moving from a state or place of autonomy or actually coming into divine union at this time. It can feel a little disempowering because you're not moving from a state of autonomy. You're doing things collaboratively. And yeah, when you're working collaboratively, sometimes that can feel a little frustrating because it doesn't mean you can do everything you want all the time for yourself, right? Okay. Well, so this is a masculine struggling right now, trying to come into partnership. And feminine is observing this to a certain extent and being like, Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is more of that point. Feminine energy is like dating right now, like avoiding darts. Like feminine energy, I stress this. This is a feminine energy right now that was moving in a point of view, or again, their opinion right now of masculine energy is one that they're feeling very triggered. This was a feminine energy that is now out looking for energy, and they're not in a space or place where they're even feeling like they wanted to do that. They're feeling more optimistic about it. But commitment is their goal, looking for a good committed energy. And more than anything, what's happening right now is feminine energy is now like utilizing this as a moment of feeling like they're weeding out a process. They're just weeding out the energy that feels like it is solely moving for their own benefit, solely moving for their own interest. And I feel like it's that is what this is coming through on this right now, was feeling like a bit of frustration for feminine right now, because it's more feminine energy being so careful and cautious of not wanting to repeat the patterns that have created any trauma. They're just looking for energy that is recognizing what that is, that's working on building easement as well. This is potentially even finding energy that has equally experienced these moments. Masculine that is in separation at this time. This is again that moment that you're potentially again moving forward right now. Committed not to come across in this vibration. Committed to wanting to be able to articulate to the feminine energy. And this is the thing for the masculine moving forward at this time. This is almost having to effectively take some accountability for yourself in the past. You now see this about yourself. You've almost had that moment right now where you've had to do enough of the self-work that you're like, oh, I see it now. I see exactly how this has been having an impact. You may even be looking at past experiences right now, masculine. This would have left to some of this like emotional crash point. And you're like, oh, you know the Taylor Swift song? This is a Taylor Swift song. It's me. It's like, this is masculine going, it's me. Okay, I see it now. I get how this has been experienced. I get what's happening here. And taking this accountability, you recognize, is what's going to allow for this breakthrough. It's showing the ability of having that point of self-work. It's showing the masculine energy, having the vulnerability to recognize that you have not been perfect in the past, that you have had moments where you yourself have also been in a state or space where you may have led people the wrong way, where you weren't able to be open about what you wanted. This is that beautiful self-work that we want to see that's leading you to a sense of a better understanding of oneself by recognizing how you're being perceived by others. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is again, either something that you're committing yourself to going forward that's going to allow for things to be easier now that you see it, or this is you wanting to ease something for someone that this has occurred to. This is you taking that understanding, that full accountability, in terms of how you behaved, how you've acted, what you've done, what you haven't done. And this is you effectively committing yourself to healing some past connection by giving them this point and degree of saying, I understand what I did. And I understand what I did. And now that I understand what I did, I want to commit to not doing that anymore. I want to make things easier because I see it now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Magician in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Justice in its reversal. An imbalance recognized is an imbalance that can be corrected. For masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in partnership, this is going to feel like it's giving like it needs like some balance needs to be reached here. There's some kind of observation. This is more of that continuing work that we keep seeing in the partnered energies around looking at spaces and places that you may be feeling like you're overcommitting your time, effort, and energy right now and not necessarily seeing the results that you would ideally aspire to. There could be a lot of communal conversation right now in partnership to try to articulate these imbalances so that you can create better balance going forward. Okay? This is very practical energy right now for the partnered energies. This is all about just finding that like sweet spot between like where you're investing your time versus getting back what you want to see. For masculine and feminine energy right now that is working to come into partnership, this is the major question. Can we reach a point of balance? Can we reach a point of equal give and take? Can we find that alignment that is required for a divine union? Feminine is very worried about over-investing on an energy that they feel isn't being honest about their intentions or just taking that energy and using it for their own purposes. This is why feminine, again, if feminine is identifying this in an energy in terms of not seeing them act upon what they said they would do, feminine energy is now moving back into separation. Feminine energy is like, bye. Nope, you haven't changed. You haven't changed. You're too much like you're too much like you were, or you're too much like the last person. You're not coming forward in the way that you're being authentic about what you say you will do versus what you are doing. That will be the moment that feminine says, this is an imbalance, I am moving away. Similarly, if feminine sees the masculine energy come forward in this way, put the actions to the word, boom. That's feminine energy getting confirmation that this is an energy that stands in their integrity. Balance can be restored. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. But it's giving them what they need to see to recognize that something can be fixed here. Masculine, you are feeling, if you're trying to come into partnership right now, the weight of recognizing that you need to take some action right now that you feel is over excessive. You may be feeling right now that this is a compromise that you have to make to feminine that you feel is over excessive or unnecessary. It feels over what you would prefer to do. That's why it is challenging your own sense of autonomy at this moment. It is making you feel a struggle point because it is challenging what you would desire to do versus what is being asked of you. But maybe you're also realizing this. This could be a moment that you're actually realizing and recognizing that and being like, well, maybe that's exactly why, because you're realizing and recognizing right now that that's how you build balance. It's not being able to do everything that you desire to do when you desire to do it in partnership. It is working from a state or place of compromise. And this is that moment that you're deciding if you're willing to make that compromise. Again, either moving into divine union or breaking off again, back into separation. Final card for today's spread between, I'm sorry, I totally forgot the energies in separation. I apologize. For the masculine and feminine energy in separation right now, this is restoring and trying to come into a space of healing the imbalance. Why? Because they're doing this work for themselves. Feminine energy right now, I have to stress, this is exactly what we're seeing the feminines doing. What is feminine doing right now in separation? Feminine energy is overcommitting to things that they don't want to do. I can't stress to you right now that this is a feminine energy that would rather not. They would rather not. They would rather not invest this time, effort, and energy in looking for the commitment. But again, this is almost some energy right now is overcommitting to something that they don't want to do. And it feels imbalanced, but they're also recognizing right now that feminine's almost allowing them into a space or state where they're kind of recognizing that they have to overinvest in something right now to be able to come into balance, to be able to find that partnership that they're desiring. But it doesn't feel fair to them. It's almost like the unfairness of the situation is almost further exacerbating to them their opinion of any energy from the past that's put them in this circumstance or situation. It's almost heightening their level or degree of sensitivity to any energy that feels like it is leading them astray or not being open and honest to them. While for masculine energy right now that is in separation, which is why I'm saying this is feminine energy with like a trigger point. Hair trigger on anything that even looks close to a red flag. Masculine energy right now that is in separation. We are effectively seeing that you are potentially having a moment that you are recognizing this in yourself at this time. You're potentially having this point of observation right now and being like, I understand how my actions may have now led me to be in this vibration. I can now see. This is where some of that overwhelm may have came. This is like a bit of that like dark night of the soul energy, masculine energy, which may have been so emotionally difficult. This is that moment that may have required, but it's good, it's powerful, it is transformative energy to recognize this. Because what's beautiful about this for the masculine energy going through this is potentially seeing something in a way that you haven't seen it before and saying, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again. I don't want someone seeing me in that capacity. I don't want someone experiencing that. I don't want to come through in that way. And what's beautiful about this for the masculine energy on this journey is something that is recognized, is something that can be corrected for, and you're doing the work to heal the balance. Because this is, again, either a moment that you're saying, I can now see, I know why things are so messed up between me and that energy. I know why that unhealed karmic energy is there. I don't know if I can ever fix it. There could be a moment, again, two different modalities happening right now. This is a modality of masculine going, I don't know if I can ever fix it with that energy. I get it though. I get why they feel like that. But I'm committing to being better as you go forward. Or this is masculine energy that is effectively saying, I understand why they see me like that. And I'm going to do everything humanly possible to fix this. Because this is an internal imbalance, feeling the imbalance of someone considering or viewing you in this perspective, that you're feeling focused and committed to healing. Bottom of the deck for today's read is, I forgot, one more card, apologies. Final card, whoop, oh my, wait, no, that's this card, sorry. Final card for today's spread. Final card. Beautiful. This is beautiful. 10 of Wands. We can do hard things. It's not that the path ahead is easy, but we can do hard things. This is the commitment to the path as you proceed forward from this work point. Masculine and feminine energy right now. This is, again, facilitating, recognizing the spaces or places that feel like they're unfair, feel like they're imbalanced, trying to find easement and restore balance, potentially sharing the load as you do so, recognizing the beauty of the divine partnership. Is this not a burden that you have to carry alone? It's almost a recognition to each other that you are all carrying it for the sake of one another. While for masculine and feminine energy, and realizing that some things around you might not feel fair, but you're not going to participate in making them further unfair. You're going to do everything you can to try to make things easier as you proceed forward from this point. While for masculine and feminine energy that is working to come into partnership, this is, again, that moment of seeing and saying, are you willing to come into a space of easement? Are you both willing to make peace, to do some things, to restore balance? Masculine, This may even be a moment for you. I need to stress, if you're trying to come into partnership, you may be feeling a little bit about what you're being asked to do from the feminine right now to come into partnership may feel a little bit unfair. I'm seeing this here. But you may also recognize why you need to do so, because this is a highly triggered feminine energy. A highly triggered feminine energy. And so you're almost conceding this to recognize, to show them that you're giving this almost as a point of saying, I'm doing something that I don't necessarily feel is necessary or fair, but I need to show you that I am committed to going forward in this way. For masculine, for feminine right now, this is almost potentially a moment that you're looking to masculine and saying, like, I know, I appreciate that you're doing something you feel is a little unnecessary right now, but it'll also give me what I need to be able to move forward at this time. For masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is effectively that moment. Again, feminine energy hates. This is a feminine energy right now that feels the weight of the frustration and the anger about where they find themselves at this time. There could be a feminine energy that's feeling like a lot about what's led them to this circumstance and situation at this time does not feel fair. But again, feminine energy is kind of just easing and giving themselves a point of consolation and saying, like, it's not fair, but it is what it is, you know? And that moment or degree is what's continuing to let the feminine energy push forward in this degree. Because feminine energy is almost saying, like, I'm not going to fight back against something that's unfair. I'm just going to move away from it. I'm going to put my committed efforts to finding a place or space that feels balanced. While for masculine in separation right now, this is again that moment. Observing the imbalance is the empowerment point. It is the empowerment point. Because what we're effectively seeing, and I need to stress this right now, for the masculine energy that was trying to come into partnership right now, it was potentially seeing whether the feminine energy was coming from a state or space of like trying to be productive during a point of conflict or ease. If you saw yesterday feminine energy that was too overly reactive or overly emotional, this could be you walking away from that. While for masculine right now, in separation, this is again that moment that you're seeing the imbalance. This is either seeing and recognizing the imbalance from past experiences that is now giving you a new path forward that you recognize is going to be easier going forward. And that you're willing to commit yourself to that journey going forward right now, having learned and recognized where that imbalance needs to be corrected. Or this is a masculine energy that is striving to correct a balance around a circumstance or situation with a karmic energy that they want peace with. That they just want that internal sense of knowing that something has been healed, knowing that something is restored, and committing themselves to the effort or energy of fixing this, no matter what it takes. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now. Communication is the order of the day. Communication, plans, being able to articulate on what you want right now. Again, for all energies, this is a bit of a struggle point. For masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now, this could be, again, having some issues or circumstances right now where, again, you're either waiting for communication. This is more of that blockage that we saw. Remember how we said that there were some things that felt open-ended for masculine and feminine right now, specifically because you're waiting on something? This is potentially waiting to hear back on some things right now that are potentially having some weight or effect on the partnership itself. There could even be some plans that feel like they have to be put on hold until you get further clarification on some things right now, which is a bit frustrating. While for masculine and feminine energy that is moving into partnership right now, this is that moment that we're effectively seeing that it's like communication right now is key. What's being communicated, how it's being communicated, whether that feels productive or whether it feels like it is coming from a space of reactivity or ultimatums. But it's also like this moment of kind of identifying and maybe potentially saying like, okay, after I do X, Y, or Z, what do we do next? That is still kind of on the table here. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is potentially still a feminine energy this like waiting for some communication here, because again, we're seeing the fact that this is a feminine energy where masculine walked away from an opportunity of partnership, and there's still something about like potentially, again, we either saw that this was either giving like a wait and see versus a bridge burning situation, which is like that feeling of like potentially waiting on some communication right now for feminine as it relates to whatever that's brought them to this point, related to whether the masculine is going to effectively come into a space or place where they desire divine partnership, or at least acknowledge where they leave things. There could be something here about some open-ended communication happening. For feminine, that's some of the weight here. Feminine struggling with some of that open-endedness. For masculine, in separation, you're potentially desiring or just trying to decide what to communicate right now. Because again, this is either masculine energy that's trying to figure out how to communicate going forward on something that they've just internally recognized about themselves, or this is masculine energy that is trying to figure out what to say to an energy that they're now trying to restore balance with. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please keep in mind that if you book a reading on my website, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a reading. I will never inbox you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today and sharing in these readings, and we will do this again tomorrow.